Imagine being completely absorbed in a task where hours feel like minutes and your productivity skyrockets. Sounds ideal, right? But here's the disturbing question. What if I told you that the average person can only focus for about 8 seconds before their mind starts to wander? That's less time than it takes to read this sentence. In fact, a study by Microsoft found that the average attention span has decreased by 4 seconds since 2000, from 12 seconds to 8 seconds. This means that our brains are constantly shifting between different tasks, never truly focusing on one thing. It's no wonder we feel like we're getting nothing done, despite being constantly busy. This phenomenon is often referred to as continuous partial attention, a term coined by Linda Stone, a former Apple and Microsoft executive. Stone argues that this constant state of distraction is not only affecting our productivity, but also our mental and physical health. But what's even more shocking is that this constant mind wandering can have serious consequences on our mental health. A study published in the journal Science found that people who are more prone to mind wandering are also more likely to experience depression and anxiety. The study, led by Matthew Killingsworth, a researcher at the University of California, San Francisco, used an app to track the daily activities and thoughts of over 2,000 participants. The results showed that when people's minds were wandering, they were less happy, regardless of what they were doing. This suggests that our ability to focus is not just important for productivity, but also for our overall well-being. Another study, conducted by Jonathan Schooler, a psychologist at the University of California, Santa Barbara, found that people who are more prone to mind wandering are also more likely to engage in procrastination and have poorer working memory. Schooler's study used functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, to examine the brain activity of participants while they performed a task that required sustained attention. The results showed that when participants' minds wandered, their brain activity shifted from the task at hand to areas of the brain associated with daydreaming and mind wandering. So, what exactly is deep focus, and how can we achieve it? Deep focus refers to a state of complete absorption in a task, where one's attention is fully engaged and distractions are minimal. This state is often referred to as being in the zone or in flow. According to Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, a psychologist at the University of Chicago, flow is a mental state of complete absorption in an activity, where one's skills and challenges are perfectly balanced. When we're in a state of flow, we're fully focused, and our productivity and creativity soar. But how do we get into this state? And more importantly, how do we stay there? One key factor is the ability to eliminate distractions. A study by David Meyer, a researcher at the University of Michigan, found that when people are faced with multiple tasks at once, their productivity decreases and their error rate increases. This is because our brains are not designed to multitask, and when we try to do so, we end up doing multiple tasks poorly. Now, you might be wondering, what's going on in our brains when we're in a state of deep focus? Research suggests that when we're fully engaged in a task, our brain activity shifts from the default mode network, which is responsible for mind wandering, to the task-positive network, which is responsible for attention and focus. This shift is accompanied by changes in brain activity, including increased activity in areas such as the prefrontal cortex and the parietal cortex. A study by Adam Gazzaley, a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco, used electroencephalography, EEG, to examine the brain activity of participants while they performed a task that required sustained attention. The results showed that when participants were in a state of deep focus, their brain activity was characterized by increased alpha and beta wave activity, which is associated with attention and focus. Gazzaley's study also found that when participants' minds wandered, their brain activity shifted to areas of the brain associated with daydreaming and mind wandering, including the medial prefrontal cortex and the posterior cingulate cortex. As we explore the science of deep focus, it's becoming clear that achieving this state is not just a matter of willpower or discipline. It's a complex process that involves multiple brain regions and networks. By understanding how our brains work, we can develop strategies to improve our focus and productivity. For example, research suggests that taking regular breaks can help to improve focus and productivity. A study by Arne Dietrich, a researcher at the American University of Beirut, found that taking short breaks can help to replenish our mental resources and improve our ability to focus. Dietrich's study used a combination of behavioral and neuroimaging techniques to examine the effects of breaks on cognitive performance. The results showed that taking short breaks can help to improve focus and productivity and reduce mind wandering. Another strategy is to use music to improve focus. A study by Robert Zator, a neuroscientist at McGill University, found that listening to music can help to improve focus and productivity by increasing activity in areas of the brain associated with attention and focus. Zator's study used functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, to examine the brain activity of participants while they listened to music and performed a task that required sustained attention. But what about the role of motivation in achieving deep focus? Research suggests that motivation plays a critical role in determining our ability to focus. A study by Edward Deci, a psychologist at the University of Rochester, found that when people are motivated by intrinsic factors, such as interest and enjoyment, they are more likely to experience deep focus. Deci's study used a combination of behavioral and self-report measures to examine the effects of motivation on cognitive performance. The results showed that when people are motivated by intrinsic factors, they are more likely to experience deep focus and improved productivity. On the other hand, when people are motivated by extrinsic factors, such as rewards or pressure, they are less likely to experience deep focus and may even experience decreased motivation and productivity. This suggests that our motivation and focus are closely linked, and that understanding the underlying factors that drive our motivation is critical to achieving deep focus. As we continue to explore the science of deep focus, it's becoming clear that achieving this state is not just a matter of individual effort, but also depends on the environment and context in which we work. Research suggests that our environment can have a profound impact on our ability to focus, with factors such as noise, temperature, and lighting all playing a role. A study by Alan Hedge, a researcher at Cornell University, found that workers who are exposed to natural light are more productive and have better focus than those who work in artificial light. Hedge's study used a combination of behavioral and physiological measures to examine the effects of lighting on cognitive performance. The results showed that natural light can have a profound impact on our ability to focus, and that workers who are exposed to natural light are more likely to experience deep focus and improved productivity. So, what can we do to create an environment that supports deep focus? One strategy is to eliminate distractions, such as turning off notifications and finding a quiet workspace. Another strategy is to use music or other forms of auditory stimulation to improve focus. Research suggests that listening to music without lyrics or with a consistent beat can help to improve focus and productivity. A study by Emma Gray, a researcher at the University of London, found that listening to music can help to improve focus and productivity by increasing activity in areas of the brain associated with attention and focus. Gray's study used functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, to examine the brain activity of participants while they listened to music and performed a task that required sustained attention. The results showed that listening to music can help to improve focus and productivity and reduce mind wandering. As we delve deeper into the science of deep focus, it's becoming clear that achieving this state is a complex process that involves multiple factors, including motivation, environment, and individual differences. By understanding the underlying mechanisms that drive our focus and productivity, we can develop strategies to improve our performance and achieve our goals. But what about the role of mindfulness in achieving deep focus? Research suggests that mindfulness can play a critical role in improving focus and productivity by increasing activity in areas of the brain associated with attention and focus. A study by Amish Jha, a researcher at the University of Miami, found that mindfulness training can help to improve focus and productivity by reducing mind wandering and improving cognitive performance. Jha's study used a combination of behavioral and neuroimaging techniques to examine the effects of mindfulness training on cognitive performance. The results showed that mindfulness training can help to improve focus and productivity and reduce mind wandering. And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our discussion, exploring the role of mindfulness in achieving deep focus and how we can use this powerful tool to improve our productivity and achieve our goals. But for now, let's just say that the key to achieving deep focus is not just about eliminating distractions, but also about cultivating a mindset that allows us to stay focused and motivated. And that's a topic we'll explore in more depth as we continue our journey into the science of deep focus. So, we've established that our brains are wired to mind wander, but we've also seen that deep focus is a skill that can be developed with practice. One of the key factors in achieving deep focus is understanding how our brains process information. Research by Dr. Wendy Suzuki, a neuroscientist at New York University, has shown that when we're in a state of deep focus, our brains are actually using less energy than when we're mind-wandering. This might seem counterintuitive, but it makes sense when you think about it. When we're focused, we're using a specific set of neural pathways, whereas when we're mind-wandering, our brains are jumping all over the place, using up a lot more energy. This has big implications for how we approach our work and daily tasks. For example, let's say you're a writer and you're trying to meet a deadline for a big project. If you're constantly checking your email and social media, you're not only distracting yourself, but you're also using up more energy than you need to. By contrast, if you can focus deeply on your writing, you'll not only get more done, but you'll also conserve energy and reduce your stress levels. Dr. Amish Jha, a neuroscientist at the University of Miami, has done some fascinating research on this topic, showing that even short periods of focused attention can have a big impact on our cognitive abilities and overall well-being. So, how can we apply this to our daily lives? One practical step is to start small by setting aside a short period of time each day to focus on a single task. This could be as simple as dedicating 10 minutes each morning to meditating or 30 minutes each afternoon to working on a specific project without any distractions. The key is to start small and build up gradually so that you're not feeling overwhelmed or discouraged. Another step is to eliminate distractions by turning off your phone or finding a quiet workspace. This might seem obvious, but it's amazing how many of us let distractions get in the way of our focus. For example, let's say you're trying to study for an exam, but you keep getting distracted by your phone. By putting your phone on silent mode and finding a quiet spot in the library, you can eliminate those distractions and focus on your studying. Or, let's say you're trying to work on a creative project, but you keep getting interrupted by coworkers or family members. By setting clear boundaries and finding a dedicated workspace, you can protect your focus and make progress on your project. A third step is to use visualization techniques to help you stay focused. This could be as simple as imagining yourself successfully completing a task or visualizing the benefits of achieving your goals. For instance, if you're an athlete, you might visualize yourself winning a competition, or if you're a musician, you might visualize yourself performing a flawless concert. By using visualization techniques, you can tap into the power of your mind and stay focused on what you want to achieve. And finally, a fourth step is to practice mindfulness by paying attention to your thoughts and emotions in the present moment. This could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths or noticing the sensations in your body. By being more mindful, you can become more aware of when your mind is wandering and gently bring your focus back to the task at hand. To illustrate this, let's consider a real-life example. Imagine you're a software engineer and you're working on a complex coding project. You're trying to focus, but your mind keeps wandering to all the other things you need to do that day. By taking a few deep breaths and noticing the sensations in your body, you can become more mindful and bring your focus back to the task at hand. You might also try visualizing yourself successfully completing the project or imagining the sense of satisfaction you'll feel when it's done. By using these techniques, you can stay focused and make progress on your goals. It's also worth noting that deep focus is not just about getting more done, but also about enjoying the process. When we're fully engaged in a task, we're more likely to experience a sense of flow, which is that optimal state of engagement and enjoyment. This is why many people find that they're most happy and fulfilled when they're working on something they love, whether it's playing music, painting, or writing. By cultivating deep focus, we can tap into this sense of flow and make our work and daily activities more enjoyable. In addition, deep focus can also have a positive impact on our relationships and overall well-being. When we're able to focus deeply on others, we're more likely to build stronger connections and communicate more effectively. This is why active listening is such an important skill and why it's essential to put away our distractions and focus on the person in front of us. By doing so, we can build deeper relationships and become more empathetic and understanding. Furthermore, Deep focus can also help us develop a greater sense of self-awareness and self-regulation. When we're able to focus on our thoughts and emotions, we're more likely to understand ourselves better and make more intentional decisions. This is why mindfulness and meditation are such powerful tools, and why they've been practiced for thousands of years. By cultivating deep focus, we can tap into this sense of self-awareness and become more intentional and purposeful in our lives. In conclusion, achieving deep focus is a skill that takes practice, but it's worth it. By understanding how our brains work, and by using simple techniques like visualization and mindfulness, we can tap into the power of deep focus and achieve our goals. Whether you're a student, an artist, or simply someone looking to improve your productivity and well-being, deep focus is a skill that can benefit you in countless ways. If this helped you see yourself differently, subscribe. I post new psychology insights every single day. And if you want to go even deeper, check the link in the description for Deep Work by Cal Newport. It changed how millions of people think and act.